He was selling hamburgers made from human flesh, not in some dark alleyway, not in some underground horror movie setting, but right out in the open, a roadside food stand luring in customers with the smell of sizzling meat. The promise of a cheap, greasy meal after a long day. People came, they paid, took a bite, and walked away, never realizing the meat they were chewing was actually a part of human body. And behind this business idea was Joe Metheny, a psycho, massive, terrifying man with dead eyes and a sick grin. He wasn't just a murderer, he was something worse. He didn't just take lives, he served them in our dinner plates. One night, a guy stopped by, just like any other customer. He ordered a burger, took a bite, and his eyes lit up. He ordered another, and another. 3 burgers down, wiping grease off his fingers, he leaned in and asked Joe, "What's the secret?" Joe just chuckled with a slow, unsettling laugh. He said, "Family Recipe." But the guy was hooked. He wanted to know more. He even offered money just to learn how to make burgers that good. Joe played along. He said, "All right, I'll tell you, but not here. Come to my house tonight at 8 o'clock. The guy hesitated for a while, but curiosity won, and he asked, "Where do you live?" Joe pointed his fingers towards the cemetery where the road disappeared into the trees, and he said, "Behind that." The man agreed, said he would bring his son along too, and with that he left, dreaming of secret ingredients and legendary burger techniques. That night, at exactly 8, the man showed up at Joe's house. His little boy stood beside him, gripping his father's hand and a strange fear in his eyes. The house was old, the kind that looked like it had secrets. The porch light flickered, barely holding on, and then Joe opened the door, grinning, "You're early." He stepped aside, letting them in. The door creaked shut behind them, and inside, the air was thick, heavy. The house smelled strange, like something was cooking, but not the good kind. The kitchen was spotless. It was too clean, but the rest of the place looked abandoned, like no one really lived there. He knew something was off. Joe led them down a narrow hallway, past old furniture covered in dust. The kid got afraid and held to his dad's arm. Something felt wrong, and then they stopped. At the end of the hallway was a metal door. It looked heavy, locked with a thick bolt, and then Joe slid it open. The room beyond was cold, way too cold. The second they stepped inside, the smell hit them, rotten, metallic. The walls were lined with hooks, and meat was hanging wrapped in plastic. But it wasn't beef, nor pork. It took them a moment to realize that these were real humans, hanging on hooks. He tried to run, but Joe was already there, blocking the exit, with a machete in his hand. The man's mouth opened to scream, but he never got the chance. It was just one brutal swing of a machete. Even the boy tried to scream, but he ended the same way. Now Joe moved slowly towards the man, taking his time, enjoying the moment. The man was lying on the ground, but his body refused to move. Joe leaned in close, and he whispered, "I told you, it's family recipes." And by morning, there was nothing left of them, no bodies, no evidence, just another batch of fresh meat, neatly ground, packed, and ready for the grill. And as the morning rush began, the smell of sizzling burgers filled the air again. People lined up, ordered, took a bite, and not a single one of them ever questioned what they were really eating, even though he was later busted by the cops. But what really disturbed me were us humans, how addictive a real human meat can get, that we don't even care that the thing we are chewing down our throat was a real person. If you loved it, hit a like and subscribe.